Yeah.
All right, we're here to talk today about animation in the classroom. And I love animation in the classroom. The kids love animation in the classroom. And the way I learned how to teach anime in the classroom is I just tried to teach anime in the classroom. There was no formal training. I just had a bunch of kids who wanted to do it, and I was like, oh, I can't put them off any longer. So we sort of learned together. It was sometimes painful, sometimes awesome. And that's still kind of how I approach it. You just sort of have that really, really good group of kids, and you're like, oh, guinea pigs, let's try this. And then, it's either like an epic failure or it's really, really awesome. So the first thing I want to show you is this website called The Origins of Animation. Way, way back in the way, you guys remember like when wikis were the big thing and everybody's going to make a wiki and everybody could edit it and all this cool stuff. So I had a wiki, and my wiki was called The Origins of Animation. And so this is it. It's a little wiki. It's on your page. And what I have here is, this is still what I use to teach animation. I'm like, it's not broke. I'm not going to fix it. And so I have, if you click here, the history of animation. If you scroll down, I actually have a PowerPoint embedded. There is no really good source of what is the history of animation. So I did a bunch of research about 6 or 7 years ago and put together this PowerPoint, and it talks all the way like, curious phases of favorite faces and things like that, and like Gertie the dinosaur. It gets into Steamboat Willie and all that kind of stuff. So it's a quick way to show the kids like how has animation changed, and it's, of course, because I'm recording, it's not going to come up at all. But anyway.
I couldn't get any of this stuff to come up.
Okay, so we'll figure that out. We'll figure it out. I'm wondering if we just go here, and we can go to my SlideShare, and just type in Origins. Origins. It's one of the more downloaded presentations I've ever made. Oh, look, I have it here too. Many different places I've saved this. So there it is. And yeah. So anyway, so what I did is I put all this together in like one big unit, and the idea would be you'd make a thaumatrope. That's like one of those toys that you spin on 2 pieces of string and it looks like it's animated. Flipbook, storyboard, character design, backdrop design, shooting, and then editing and publishing your claymation. And so it actually has everything as its own lesson with like rubrics and all that kind of stuff. And so you're welcome to download and edit and all that kind of stuff, whatever you want. And you don't have to start from, obviously the thaumatrope. Now, if you were to download this, these little pieces animate. So while you're talking, this actually is animating, and it's showing kids how this works and all that kind of stuff. So, rather than reinventing the wheel, it's just all here. And it kind of goes through how you create, if you're going to do, like, this is for claymation. So if you're going to do claymation, you want to have a storyboard that the kids make. And so if you click on this little link right here, it has a little PowerPoint about how you make a storyboard. And then also as you scroll down, there's a rubric, and then there's downloadable storyboards. So I've got one that's more suited for elementary school kids, and then one that's more suited for middle school, high school kids. So I tried to make it really, really helpful. And then I have all these little steps as exactly what my kids did, and then, links I had that showed kids how this kind of stuff worked. Then sculpting your characters. When you make claymation, I learned the hard way. Your claymation, you want to build it on a frame. So like a wire frame, so like pipe cleaner is the easiest way, because what will happen is as the kids start to bend the clay characters, their arms will start to fall off, and that's really problematic. Problematic. I like that. We're making that problematic. It's really problematic when your arm falls off and all that kind of stuff. And again, I've got a little PowerPoint, and in the PowerPoint, it shows you what a good sculpted character looks like, what a bad one looks like. So I've got all these examples here. So my point is, if you're going to do claymation, it's a big enough thing. Don't go reinvent the wheel. It's all here. I've got rubrics and everything. And again, you can take them and edit them, and it doesn't bother me. Creating your backdrop, the easiest way is take a piece of paper, fold it in half, have one part be the back and one part be the stage, and then you're done. And you can see how low tech we were. We just taped it up to a wall. I was like, it does not have to be really, really involved. And then when you go to shoot it, we did ours with a digital camera. We didn't have tripods, so what I had them do was stack up some books, and then we marked on the textbook with some masking tape where their camera sat, and they would just sit there and they just click and then move it, click and move it. And you want to work in teams, because one person is like the camera person and one person is the mover. If you try to do both, it starts getting kind of complicated. So yeah, I had this like little picture I put on a slide for my kids when they were setting this up in class, like here's your tripod, you know? So I didn't have a big budget, and that's what you do to make it work. And then I go into finding royalty-free music. Where do you go to find royalty-free music? Because, they all want to put, like, some, like, heavily, copyrighted work on it. You can't do that. And it talks about that. I do all of my editing in Windows Movie Maker. And the reason why I do that and not on a Mac is because I don't have a Mac. My kids don't have access to a Mac. And Windows Live Movie Maker is free. So these are all my steps on how I did that. And these are the exact ones my kids use when they do it. And you can see I've got like click by click on tools, scroll to options, click on advanced. Like I've got it as simple as I can make it. And then publishing and all that kind of stuff, uploading to YouTube. And I wanted to show you some fun examples of what they can look like. So this is, make sure my sound is plugged in. Okay, it is. This is Alien Findings. And you can see down here like how many pictures it's taking to do just these small little movements. And this was like 3 weeks of work. I mean, it's tremendous how much time you spend doing this. Great project for the end of the year when you're like, oh my God, what am I going to do with them? They found a dirty cup in my classroom. How shocking.
That's pretty good.
And so, one of the things you're trying to tell them is to keep it simple. They're going to want to have like this real involved plot in like 12 characters, no more than 3 characters. And then of course you have to have your credits, it's very important. And I'll show you another one just to give you an idea of how short they can be. Yeah?
What kind of clay did you use?
Oil-based clay. I bought it for $1 a pack at Hobby Lobby. They sell it right by the cash register. You get like 12 colors in it and it's $1. And I bought we had groups, so I think I had 13 groups, so I spent $13. Each group got that. And you can actually draw and paint on oil-based clay. Because the kids did. I found out, I was like, oh, you painted on that? That works? And it did. I mean, obviously it's going to wear a little bit or whatever, but, And I'll show you this one too, and because you can see how fast they can be. This is always a favorite, making things get eaten.
I love that.
That was it. That was the whole movie. So, yeah. And so, you show that to them. Yeah, the boy who made this was in love with the girl who was in his group. So it says the dinosaur's body was crafted by Nicole's long, beautiful fingers. So, but it doesn't have to be like super sophisticated. And so it's good to show them like, listen, that whole thing was less than 25 seconds long. Like,
how large of a group did they work in?
You really don't want more than 2. I found out if you have 3, that third kid, even no matter how talented they are, is off doing something else, and they'll say, oh no, we need 2 people. That's really what you need. And actually, I found out these were probably 2 of the best that were ever made, and they were not friends. They were just put together by me. And so I found out that friends often did not work as better in this, because you needed 2 different minds. You need the one mind that is like the super creative type, and then you need the other mind that is like the, real technical, I understand how to do this, because that's what happened in both of these cases. Nicole was like the time manager, and she was like, no, we need to stay on track, and you're not doing this, and you're being destructive, and here's what we have to do. And then the other boy, and it was like, oh, dinosaur, caveman, like he was just everywhere, And it was the same thing in this group, where the girl was much more free-spirited, and she could make anything, and the boy was definitely more of like the guiding. He was like, okay, well, we've spent too long on this, like now we have to get back to topic, because she kept saying, oh, well, what if we had more aliens come in? And he was like, no. Enough with the aliens. We have 1 alien, and that's it. It was, in fact, the little like blob at the end was a big fight. It was like, do we had him? Do we not? Whatever. So I think these ones are a little bit more convoluted. I'll kind of see. I don't even remember what they look like. So this is a great one to show them what's on the edge of your camera. Oh yeah, he was eating the Their end part took just as long as the whole video. So there you go. So yeah, that's origins of animation way back here. Oh, this is where I was. So yeah, there you go. And then I have a little final assessment and all that kind of stuff. So getting back to our little thing. That's my homework, never mind. Okay, so the next thing I want to tell you about was Go Animate, which is probably what most of you guys are going to pick to play with. So if we go there, Go Animate, basically, it does, no, I don't need anything for free. You make professional animated videos, okay? And just like their advertisement is low learning curve. Yay! That's what we like to hear. It actually starts off where you can have your own, it has characters that are pre-made for you, and they call the background the stage. It has pre-made stages for you, and then you can get to a point where you can make everything yourself. The reason I really like it is it has kind of like a storyboard at the bottom where it keeps people on track, and it's real intuitive. So I didn't go into too much detail on the website, but what I did do is down here, I have some like tutorials on, if you want to get started or if you want to like really go in depth. And then I also I'll show you an animation I made. And I'll show you one students made. And you can record your own voice.
Welcome. Today we're going to talk about animation in a classroom.
Go me. And you get like...
The most important thing to consider when using animation in the classroom is that you are not expected to be, nor do you have to be, an expert in animation.
There you go.
You're that.
Oh, you get to choose and customize and all that stuff. Yeah, it is kind of, because you do have like a fat body option, and I'm like, I'm not picking that. Like, I'm going to be thin. So, yeah, so you can get into customization. And then I also wanted to show you, here's one, I had some students do this a few years ago. They were just playing with it, and this was like their first 5 minutes messing around with Go Animate, and here's what they managed to create. And they saved it to my account, which is why I still have it. So this is like a pre-made character that they had access to, and I have not pre-watched this, so I don't remember what's on it.
It's strange.
Is it?
Yeah.
It's like some nerdy thing that we don't understand.
The character just keeps repeating these sounds that don't make any sense. I haven't quite figured it out.
So you can like have it half customized. So this is half customized for them. So I guess they're gonna have a battle round.
And then that's
Well, they were 7th graders. There you go. Yep. So in 5 minutes, you two can make strange noises on Go Animate. So yeah, that's Go Animate, and that's, I mean, really, I think that that's probably what a lot of you guys are going to pick just as, like, I would imagine as your first, like, foray into this. Because it's easy, it's customizable, you don't have to download anything. You know, you can take kids to a computer lab and they can try it out. So real quick before I have to stop and publish this first movie because I'm almost to my 15-minute mark. The next thing I want to show you is Voki, which if you are at my Origins of Animation page, which, oh, that's not the original one. This is a Voki right here, and you can embed them in pages. So this was a Voki, I made this Voki in like 2009, so God only knows what she has to say.
Hi, I'm Ms. Johnson, and welcome to the Origins of Animation Art Unit. The Origins of Animation Unit provides students with a unique overview of the history of animation from the earliest stop motion to current computers.
So the cool thing is, too, they get real menacing, like it'll follow your mouse. Well, now that it's paused, it won't. But before you hit play, it'll follow your mouse so you can... And I know a lot of teachers use these, and they use it as like their warm-up in the class, or they have the kid, like it starts talking at the kids. And so that, especially in an elementary classroom, you know. I'm trying to say, I think we should stop here and publish, and then I'll finish with Voki.